You've been lied to, not by one person, by a system so intricate, so embedded in the fabric of your reality that you never questioned it. You wake up, check your phone, scroll mindlessly, feel a hollow pang of comparison, and tell yourself it's normal. You chase goals that don't feel like yours, crave approval from people whose faces you'll never remember, and wonder why, despite doing everything right, something inside you feels profoundly wrong. Let me tell you what that something is. You are not broken. You are imprisoned. And the most terrifying part, you built the cage yourself, brick by brick, thought by thought, belief by belief. This is not a metaphor. This is the architecture of your mind under siege, a silent war where the weapon is not a blade but a whisper, not chains but narratives. And if you stay with me, I will show you the bars you cannot see, the guards you never noticed, and the one skeleton key that every imprisoned mind fears: awareness. Because once you see the prison, you can never unsee it. And that, my friend, is where your power begins. Most people live their entire lives in a trance, not sleeping, but not awake either. They move through routines they never chose, defend beliefs they never questioned, and pursue desires that were planted in them by forces they never acknowledged. This is the mental prison, and it operates on a simple but devastating principle: control the framework, control the man. The framework is how you see the world, what you believe is possible, what you think you deserve, what you fear, what you crave. And here's the brutal truth: none of it was chosen by you. It was installed by your parents, your teachers, your culture, your peers, your media, your trauma. Layer after layer, they built the walls, and you, thinking you were free, decorated them with posters of ambition and called it a life. Let's start with the most insidious bar in this prison: the need for external validation. You've been conditioned since birth to believe that your worth is determined by how others perceive you. Your parents praised you when you obeyed, punished you when you didn't. Your teachers graded you, ranked you, compared you. Your peers accepted or rejected you based on arbitrary social codes. And now, as an adult, you carry that prison with you everywhere. You check your phone obsessively, counting likes, measuring your value in notifications. You change your behavior based on who's watching. You mold your opinions to fit the room. You censor your truth to avoid discomfort. This is not freedom. This is performance, and the audience is your warden. But here's where it gets darker. The system doesn't just want your obedience, it wants your energy. It wants you distracted, fragmented, addicted. So it floods your mind with stimuli, endless content, manufactured outrage, artificial desire. It trains you to seek dopamine hits instead of deep satisfaction. It teaches you to consume rather than create, to react rather than reflect, to scroll rather than sit in silence. And every moment you spend in this state is a moment you're not thinking clearly, not questioning deeply, not building anything real. You become a ghost in your own life, present but not engaged, alive but not living. This is the prison's most elegant feature. It doesn't need guards because the inmates police themselves. Now let's talk about the beliefs that form the invisible walls. You believe you need to fit in. You believe success looks a certain way. You believe you must always be productive, always improving, always hustling. You believe vulnerability is weakness. You believe asking for help is failure. You believe your past defines your future. You believe you are your thoughts, your emotions, your mistakes. And because you believe these things, you act accordingly. You shrink yourself to fit into spaces that were never meant for you. You chase metrics that have nothing to do with fulfillment. You exhaust yourself in the name of a success that feels hollow when you achieve it. These beliefs are not truths, they are bars. And every time you accept them without question, you reinforce the cage. But the cruelest trick of the mental prison is this: it convinces you that you are free. It gives you just enough choice to feel autonomous. You can pick your brand of phone, your flavor of distraction, your style of self-improvement. But the framework, that stays the same. The questions you're allowed to ask, limited. The paths you're encouraged to take, pre-approved. You are not free, you are managed. And the moment you step outside the lines, the system activates its immune response. Ridicule, isolation, punishment. Because a man who thinks for himself is a threat. A man who questions the framework dismantles the prison for everyone, and the system cannot allow that. So how do you break free? It starts with one uncomfortable realization. You have to see the cage. Not theoretically, but viscerally. You have to look at your own life and ask the questions most people avoid. Why do I want what I want? Is this goal mine, or was it handed to me? Am I living, or am I performing? Do I know who I am when no one is watching? These questions are not comfortable. They will make you squirm. Because once you see how much of your life is scripted, you can't go back to autopilot. And that discomfort? That's the first crack in the wall. The second step is reclaiming your attention. Your attention is your most valuable resource, and the system knows it. That's why everything is designed to steal it. Notifications, algorithms, outrage cycles, endless content. But attention is not just about where you look. It's about where you invest your mental energy. Every time you choose to scroll instead of sit with your thoughts, you strengthen the bars. Every time you choose distraction over discomfort, you lock yourself in deeper. But when you reclaim your attention, when you decide what deserves your focus and what doesn't, you begin to dismantle the architecture. You start to see clearly, and clarity is the enemy of control. The third step is confronting your conditioning. This is the hardest part because it requires you to look at the people and systems that shaped you and admit they didn't always have my best interest at heart. Your parents may have loved you, but they also projected their fears onto you. Your teachers may have meant well, but they also trained you for compliance, not critical thinking. Your culture may have given you identity, but it also gave you limitations. And until you separate what is truly yours from what was imposed on you, you will never be free. This is not about blame. It's about excavation. Dig through the layers. Find the beliefs that don't serve you and discard them without guilt. The fourth step is building autonomy. Autonomy is not just independence, it's the ability to self-author your life. It's knowing what you stand for, what you will not tolerate, and who you are when the world is not watching. Most people never reach this stage because it requires something terrifying, the willingness to be misunderstood, rejected, alone. The mental prison thrives on your fear of isolation. It tells you that if you step outside the norm, you will be cast out. And in many ways, that's true. But here's the paradox. The loneliness of living authentically is far less painful than the loneliness of pretending to be someone you're not. When you build autonomy, you stop seeking permission. You stop waiting for validation. You become the authority in your own life. And that is when the bars dissolve. Now let's go deeper into the mechanisms of control, because understanding the system is the first act of rebellion. The mental prison uses three primary tools: fear, shame, and desire. Fear keeps you small. It tells you that stepping out of line will result in catastrophe, rejection, failure, ruin. So you stay within the boundaries, even when they suffocate you. Shame keeps you silent. It tells you that who you are is fundamentally flawed, that your thoughts are wrong, your desires inappropriate, your existence a burden. So you hide, you shrink, you apologize for taking up space. And desire is the most insidious because it masquerades as freedom. The system doesn't suppress your desires, it manufactures them. It tells you what to want, when to want it, and makes you feel inadequate if you don't have it. And because you're always chasing these manufactured desires, you never stop to ask, is this even mine? Let's talk about the illusion of choice. You think you have options, but look closer. The options are curated. You can choose between 100 brands, but they all serve the same master: consumption. You can pick your political tribe, but the conversation is pre-framed. You can pursue any career as long as it fits within the economy's needs. This is not freedom. This is the appearance of freedom, designed to keep you compliant, because as long as you believe you're free, you won't fight for actual liberation. And actual liberation terrifies the system because it means you stop playing the game entirely. You stop seeking their approval. You stop consuming their narrative. You stop feeding the machine. And a man who stops feeding the machine becomes ungovernable. Here's what they don't tell you. The prison is not just external, it's internalized. You carry it in your mind, in your habits, in your automatic reactions. You police yourself, you censor yourself, you limit yourself, and you do it so automatically that you don't even notice. This is the genius of the mental prison. It doesn't need walls. Once you've internalized the rules, you become your own jailer. You reject opportunities before they're even offered because you've already decided you're not worthy. You silence your voice before anyone else can because you've already judged yourself. You sabotage your own progress because deep down, you don't believe you deserve success. This is the final lock on the cage, self-imposed limitation. And the only key is self-awareness. Self-awareness is not self-indulgence. It's the act of observing your own mind without judgment. It's noticing the patterns, the triggers, the automatic responses. It's asking, why did I react that way? Where did that belief come from? Is this thought mine, or is it an echo of someone else's voice? This practice is uncomfortable because it forces you to confront the parts of yourself you've been avoiding. But discomfort is not the enemy. Comfort is. Comfort keeps you asleep. Discomfort wakes you up. And once you're awake, you start to see the invisible architecture of your mental prison. You see the beliefs that limit you. You see the fears that control you. You see the desires that were never yours. And with each layer you uncover, the prison weakens. Now let's address the people who will resist your awakening. Because the moment you start to break free, the people around you will feel it. And many of them will try to pull you back. Not out of malice, but out of fear. Your freedom threatens their prison. Your clarity exposes their confusion. Your authenticity highlights their performance. And instead of looking inward, they will project outward. They will call you selfish. They will call you cold. They will call you arrogant. They will say you've changed, and they won't mean it as a compliment. This is the test. This is where most people turn back, because the pain of rejection feels unbearable. But here's the truth. Anyone who punishes you for growth was never meant to walk with you. Let them go. Not with anger, but with understanding. They are still in the prison, and you cannot free someone who doesn't want to leave. The fifth step is cultivating solitude, not loneliness, solitude. Solitude is the space where you hear your own voice clearly. It's where you separate your thoughts from the noise. It's where you rebuild your mind from the ground up. Most people fear solitude because they fear what they'll find there, the unresolved pain, the unanswered questions, the uncomfortable truths. But solitude is not punishment, it's sanctuary. It's the laboratory where you dismantle the old programming and install new code. It's where you become who you were meant to be before the world told you who to be. And the more time you spend in solitude, the less you need validation from the outside. You become your own source of certainty, and that is the ultimate rebellion. Here's the part no one talks about. Freedom is not a destination. It's a practice. You don't break free once and live happily ever after. The prison is always there, waiting for a moment of weakness, a crack in your awareness. It will try to pull you back with old habits, old fears, old desires. But once you've tasted freedom, once you've felt what it's like to live from the inside out rather than the outside in, you can never fully return. You become vigilant. You guard your mind like a fortress. You choose your influences carefully. You curate your environment intentionally. You say no to anything that threatens your clarity. This is not paranoia. This is sovereignty, and sovereignty is the birthright you reclaimed from the prison. Let me give you a framework, a daily practice to maintain your freedom. Every morning, before you touch your phone, before you consume any external input, sit in silence for 10 minutes. Not meditation, not affirmations, just silence. Let your mind settle. Observe the thoughts that arise. Notice which ones feel like you and which ones feel like echoes. This is your daily audit. This is how you catch the prison trying to rebuild itself. Then, throughout the day, practice the pause. Before you react, pause. Before you speak, pause. Before you decide, pause. In that pause, ask yourself, is this response mine or is it conditioned? Am I acting from fear or from clarity? Am I seeking validation or expressing truth? This pause is your power. It's the space between stimulus and response, and in that space lies your freedom. At night, reflect. Ask yourself, did I live today or did I perform? Did I make choices or did I follow scripts? Did I honor my truth or did I bend to expectation? This is not about perfection. It's about awareness. Because the more aware you become, the less the prison can control you. You start to see the manipulation in real time. You start to feel the pull of old patterns before they take over. And you start to choose differently, not dramatically, not all at once, but incrementally. And those incremental choices compound. They become a new way of being. And that new way of being is what we call freedom. Now, let's talk about the men who never leave the prison. They live their entire lives in service to a narrative they never wrote. They chase success that looks good but feels empty. They build relationships based on performance, not connection. They numb themselves with distractions because the silence terrifies them. And when they reach the end, they realize they never lived. They survived. They performed. They complied. But they never became who they truly were. This is not a judgment. This is a warning. Because the prison is comfortable. It offers predictability, approval, safety, but it demands your soul in return. And if you're reading this, if you've made it this far, you already know the comfort is not worth the cost. So here's the choice, the only choice that matters. Do you stay in the prison or do you walk out? Do you continue to live by scripts written by others, or do you author your own life? Do you seek validation from a world that will never be satisfied, or do you validate yourself? This is not an easy choice. Freedom is not easy. It requires courage, discipline, relentless self-awareness. It requires you to sit with discomfort, to face your fears, to let go of people and beliefs that no longer serve you. It requires you to become someone most people will never understand. But here's what freedom gives you in return: clarity, authenticity, sovereignty, peace. Not the peace of ignorance, but the peace of knowing exactly who you are and refusing to apologize for it. If you've made it to this point, you are not the same person who started this video. Something shifted. You felt it. That discomfort, that recognition, that quiet knowing that you've been living in a cage. And now you have a choice. You can close this tab, return to autopilot, and pretend you didn't see what you saw. Or you can take the first step. Not tomorrow, now. Right now. Sit in silence. Ask yourself the hard questions. Start the excavation. And know this: the moment you choose awareness, the prison begins to crumble. It doesn't happen all at once, but it happens. One belief at a time, one choice at a time, one breath at a time. And if this resonated with you, if you felt the weight of these words, I ask you to do something. Not for me, not for the algorithm, but for yourself. Comment below. I see the cage. This is not just a comment. This is a declaration, a line in the sand, a commitment to yourself that you will no longer live unconsciously. and subscribe to this channel, not because I need your numbers, but because you need reminders. You need a voice that doesn't tell you what to think, but challenges you to think. You need a space that honors truth over comfort, clarity over validation, sovereignty over compliance. This is not a channel for everyone. It's for the men who are tired of pretending, tired of performing, tired of living half asleep. It's for the ones who would rather be uncomfortable and awake than comfortable and unconscious. It's for the ones who understand that the hardest prison to escape is the one you don't know you're in. And now you know. You can never unknow it. And that, my friend, is your greatest power. Walk out. The door was never locked.